Hello, welcome to Stories for Wonderful Children. I'm Dan Wendelin, your host and storyteller. Tonight's story continues the saga of Myra and the online school. Myra and Hettie head to the library, hoping to find some clues hidden in the secrets of the Zealot library. Will they find them? You'll just have to listen and find out for yourself. Enjoy the story. So, Myra and Hettie entered the library building, and Hettie led her to the wedge of the building that was the Zealot section. And she led her through it, and it was pretty empty because it was class hours for most people. They saw a few people in the study cubicles, and most of them didn't look up, but the couple that did sort of did a double take because it wasn't very common to see a Zealot student and a sneaker student together. After a couple of them did double takes, Myra stopped. She said, "Come on, we're leaving." "Wait," said Hettie. "Nope," said Myra, "we're leaving." So Hettie followed her back out of the library. "What was that all about? I don't know how long it's going to be until my stalker llama gets back." "I don't know. Tweety has them pretty freaked out," said Myra. "I don't think they'll be back anytime soon. But anyway, everybody knows I'm a sneaker." "Yes," said Hettie. "So," said Myra, "I think that I need to borrow some of your robes." "Oh," said Hettie. "Yeah, that's a good idea. Come on." And so they headed to the dorm. And when they got to Hettie's room, Hettie loaned Myra some of her robes. Hettie was a little bit shorter, a little bit thicker than Myra. But fortunately, student robes are not especially form-fitting, and so they managed it. And Myra examined herself in the mirror and said, "Well, obviously anybody who knows all the Zealot students is not going to be fooled by this, but at a casual glance, they'll quit paying attention." "Got it," said Hettie. "It's a good idea. You're good at this sneaking stuff." "Apparently," said Myra, somewhat to my own surprise, but yeah. So they headed back to the library, and they again headed into the Zealot section. And when they got there, they headed into the very middle of the bottom floor, and nobody had looked up and done a double take. Everybody had just seen two Zealot students. "Okay, this is it." "What's it?" said Myra. Hettie raised an eyebrow, and Myra paused and took a moment to really look around. And as she did, she noticed that the tile of the floor was more worn along this particular path to this very spot. So she tapped her foot. And when she did, she could tell that the sound was just slightly hollow. She stepped back and looked at the surrounding shelves. She saw that one of the shelf labels was a little worn compared to the rest, and there were just the smallest scrapes underneath it. She reached out, grasped it, and pulled down. It slipped down, and the tiles slid evenly back from where they had been standing, revealing a staircase spiraling down below the floor. "I'm impressed," said Hettie. "I thought I was going to have to show it to you." "Okay," said Myra. "Now it's time for me to show you some things. We walk quietly, but like we belong here, okay? Have you ever been down here?" "No. Well, yes," said Hettie. "They showed it to us, but I've never been down here by myself." "Okay," said Myra. "Just remember, you belong here. You belong here." "Right," said Hettie. So they circled down the stairs, and when they reached the bottom, it was a small sort of reading room. And right at the bottom of the stairs, there was one of the Zealot professors sitting at a desk, and glanced up, and they started to walk past him, and the professor cleared her throat. She said, "First years are not allowed down here, students. You know that." But, said Hettie, we were just looking up something for a... Look it up in the public stacks. There is nothing down here that you need to know as a first year. Go on. They looked at each other and then headed back up the circular stairs. Well, said Myra, I guess I'm just going to have to sneak in here myself at night. Well, she said, as long as we're here, why don't we look up string demons in the public Zealot stacks and see what we can find? So they looked through the Zealot stacks, and Hettie led them to a big reference book called The Big Book of Deities and Demons. And it was huge. When they said big book, they were not kidding. It took both of them to carry it to a reading table. But they got a reading table. And first, they went to the index and they looked up string. And there was an entry for that, but it did not say string demon, and it said string of fate. And then they looked up demons, and there was a whole listing of demons, like a whole page in the index. There were snow demons and fire demons and horn demons, spike demons, chain demons.
Those are some very specific demons.
Ice demons, cacodemons.
What is that,
Cat demons, and
oh wait, we have one of those right here.
arc demons, and just a whole listing. But as they went down through it, they went straight from snow demons to tinsel demons, with no string demon between them. They paused and looked at it for a minute. Well,
what
said
does
Myra.
a tinsel demon do?
That's exactly what she asked. And Hettie said, ooh, I know this one. They actually are sometimes attracted to, like when people hang tinsel on their Christmas trees. And so
then they attack them with Christmas cheery spirit.
No, what they do is they tend to make, like, when people put candles on their trees, they make the candles flare up and light the trees on fire.
Ooh.
So they're responsible for most, like, Christmas tree fires that catch houses on fire. Huh, said Myra.
That's one way to ruin someone's Christmas.
I had no idea that was a thing. Oh yes, said Hettie enthusiastically. You'll never catch a zealot with tinsel anywhere in their house during the holidays. That's good to know, said Myra. I will keep that in mind when it comes time to decorate. But it doesn't say anything here about them using tinsel, so I don't think that's what we're looking for. Well, let's look and see what the string of fate is. Maybe that's something. And so they switched back to that entry, and they read string of fate was the string that is carried by the three fates. And one of them measures out the string, and one of them weaves it into life stories, and one of them cuts it when someone's life ends. But it's a super powerful thing that, that's what makes it such a magical thing, is that there's just one of them, and yet it measures out and weaves and ends every sentient being's life. And down at the bottom, someone had written in, like, scribbled a note in the margin that said, "Where are the fates?" Huh, said Myra, what's that all about? I think I heard actually some third years talking about it. Something about how once upon a time the fates would sometimes respond to questions from zealots, or could be consulted by zealots, but that no one had heard from them or been able to find them in a long time.
They're quarantining, COVID-19 social distancing.
And Myra said, that's interesting. And no one knows why? Hettie shrugged. I don't know. Maybe the third years know why. I think they study it in the third year classes. Okay, said Myra. Well, doesn't sound like it has anything to do with what we're looking for anyway. I think I'm just going to have to sneak into that Sneak into that underground section. Perhaps tonight. Tonight? Said Hettie. No better time than now. We've got to have answers by the time the full moon rolls around again. All right, well, best be on our way before the stalker llama... Ah! They had just looked up from the book. The stalker llama was standing on the other side of the table from them, chewing its cud. I didn't think they allowed stalker llamas in the library, said Myra. The stalker llama just chewed its cud. Well, said Hettie, let's put this back. So they hauled the book back, and they headed out of the library, followed by the stalker llama. I'll see you for breakfast tomorrow morning. Hettie, said Myra, we can talk more. Yes, said Hettie, I'll be interested in what you have to say. That is the end for tonight. Tomorrow night I will tell you about Myra's late-night adventure to the secret Zealot library. Thanks for listening to Stories for Wonderful Children. I created today's show, but questions and running commentary were supplied by my children. The theme music was created by Brandon Thompson, and our wonderful logo was designed by Silas Swindelin. If you know someone who might enjoy the show, please tell them about it. Do you want more stories? You can now subscribe to the show and help pick a new story for me to tell every month. The show's website is storiesforwonderfulchildren.com. Until next time, I'm Dan Wendelin, reminding you to tell someone you love a story.